Joining us now to discuss the tech sector is former VP of Amazon Prime, Greg Greeley, who recently stepped down as the president of Airbnb's homes business. He's currently advisor at Tapas Capital. Greg, good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I want to start off talking about the recurring revenues and stickiness that are so important to all the big tech stocks right now. Right now, there's this controversy about the way Apple and Google manage their app stores, and Eric Schmidt talked about it a little bit on Squawk Box. Let's listen to what he had to say.
In China, for example, Google does not have a single app store because of regulatory issues. And there's always been issues of, is the app that you're using certified and so forth. I would be careful about breaking up the app store model, as it does provide some security and protection. We can quibble about how they're managed, but the important thing is when you use an app store, you can rely that what's on it is represented to be what it really is. Just think of all those viruses that you are not getting as a result of the app store.
Think of all the viruses you're not getting, Greg. Okay, so Schmidt there is talking specifically about how in China it's harder to tell which apps are legit, but how much of a risk to these stocks do you think it is that regulation might end up changing how app stores operate?
Well, all of the kind of tech players are very nimble, and they're going to be responsive to whatever the regulation that comes in. Certainly across, the Apple app ecosystem, the Android app ecosystem, and even the mobile web, there's opportunities for all of the players to continue to innovate. So I would make sure that we don't lose sight as to what the users kind of need and want, and make sure that I agree with Eric. I certainly wouldn't break up that app store or impose that. But I think there will be plenty of opportunities for companies to be nimble and use technology to kind of navigate the playing field.
It's not the innovation I'm curious about so much as the profit margins, because some of what's happening here is you see Epic pressuring Apple to take a lower cut from its app store. You see various pressures across these services ecosystems. Say Amazon's third parties pressuring them on how they're treated. How much of a risk do you think it is for investors that there will be changes that impact the bottom line?
I think change is inevitable, but certainly from a standpoint of the profit margins, a lot of these companies are getting tremendous economies of scale. And so I think you've got this ongoing tension between the profit margins they can get, but ultimately what's going to allow them to preserve and continue those recurring revenue streams is to continue to innovate for their customers so that those users are coming to their ecosystem.
I'm sort of surprised, Greg, because now you're in the venture capital world and you're seeding more early stage companies. So are you saying that companies like Apple with these policies don't represent a competitive threat for the smaller companies that you're investing in?
No, it's actually quite different. Within Tapas Capital, this is one of the tailwinds that Apple has. Within Tapas Capital, almost all of these early stage companies rely on that Apple or Android ecosystem for app distribution. So there's this ongoing flywheel for Apple. And then even if, over the time commissions change across those ecosystems, I think they've got a tremendous opportunity that's coming from investments that are very early stage innovations.
You've got firsthand experience when it comes to rolling out e-commerce features. And I also think about Facebook. They launched Facebook Watch. That didn't really explode onto the scene. Marketplace, not really sure how well that's done. What do they need to do with these shops to make sure that they have kind of a bigger impact than maybe some of their other efforts have?
Well, again, I'll be interested to explore what they've done further. However, certainly what customers across the entire kind of global e-commerce ecosystem are looking for is great selection, great prices. So from the Facebook, they've been dabbling with the marketplace, and as has Google. As Google recently also lowered their commissions and waived the seller fees. So I think what you'll see that the pandemic has provided some tremendous tailwinds for e-commerce. And so, we have to remember retail is a $25 trillion market globally. Mm-hmm. So Facebook has tremendous opportunity to kind of lean in and experiment with different ways of making their marketplace effective.